is Alex Gross, and I am a senior here at Hazen High School. And my high school experience has been a little different from the average student because my father's in the military, so we've been moving around pretty much our whole lives. And right for my first 3 years of my high school education, I attended a different high school in San Diego, California called Rancho Bernardo. And right before senior year, we moved here, and I decided, because I'm new anyway, I might as well get the college credits that I need. So therefore, I attended the Running Start program and attended Green River Community College full-time, as a full-time student at Green River Community College. So I haven't taken any classes here at Hazen. And in San Diego, the reason it was different from here is in San Diego, they didn't have a senior project that we had to do. So therefore, I don't have any of my work I don't have as much work for my first 3 years, and I haven't been able to prepare as much for the senior project. And so my portfolio is a little smaller and a little different from the average portfolio. Let's start. This is my culminating project, and it is a summary of my academic works and accomplishments. My experiences during high school have given me many goals. One of these being I want to earn a bachelor's degree in the computer graphic design field, because that is the profession that I plan to follow when I grow up. And I plan to be a computer graphic artist, and that is the bachelor's degree that will help me in that. My most challenging experiences during my high school education were probably my AP United States history class that I took during junior year. It was a very challenging class, and the curriculum was very tough, and the teacher expected a lot, but I got through it, but it was very challenging. And my most challenging experience was probably moving from San Diego to here, because the change was massive. I moved from a whole different state, and the curriculum was different, and I also decided to attend Green River, so going from high school to college was a very big difference. So it was a challenge, but I also got through that. My experiences have enhanced my future by teaching me how to deal with stress, and also how to ingest and process a large amount of work. So like the projects we would get and the assignments we would get would give us a lot of stress, and we would have to learn how to deal with that and how to ingest it and come up with a good grade for the assignments. And therefore, that'll help me in my future for future projects that I might have to do in my line of work. It has also made me a responsible citizen by preparing me for the real world through the many classes that I've taken and through my future profession, and has taught me how to work efficiently, effectively, and quickly. During my freshman year, my two favorite teachers were Miss Brickley, she was my honors biology teacher, as well as Miss Mason Brink, and she was my intro to computers teacher. Miss Brickley was probably one of my favorites because she was very unique, she was very funny, and she would teach us like all these stories about the material in the class in a different way, and it helped us remember the things a lot easier. And Miss Mason Brink was one of my favorite teachers because she was very nice, and she was always there for me. If I ever needed help in any of my other classes or anything, she would be there for me. And she also taught me a lot in the field. My future profession is going to include computers. That's pretty much the whole thing. So the material she taught me is very relevant to what I want to do when I grow up. The classes I took that year included honors geometry, honors biology, physical education, health, introduction to computers, language arts, and Spanish 1-2, which is the equivalent of just Spanish 1 here. They just call it Spanish 1-2. During my freshman year, I was a 4-H teen camp counselor, and that taught me how to properly act in a leadership role, which will be very useful because if I create my own company, I will need to be the boss of that company, and I'll need to know how to effectively be a leader in my company and how to work my employees. And I will also join a recreational basketball team during my freshman year, and that taught me the value of teamwork as well as hard work, and it just taught me to think on my toes and how to work with others very well, which will also be very important when I get a job. During my sophomore year, my favorite teachers were Mr. Bush, which was my chemistry teacher, and Miss Nelson, which was my Spanish 3-4 teacher. Mr. Bush was probably one of my favorite teachers, my favorite science teachers, because all the cool labs he would have us do. He'd teach us a balloon would float up to the ceiling and explode, and it'd be really cool. Or he'd light something on fire in water, and it would skid across the water, and it was just amazing for us, and it really taught us a lot, and it was a very fun class. And Miss Nelson, she was probably one of my toughest teachers during my high school. She was very strict and laid down, but she taught me a lot how to deal with stress. She was very on the spot, on demand. Here, what's the answer? And we had to know the material. So she taught me how to deal with a strict person that wants answers now, and it would be very useful. And the classes I took during my sophomore year were Honors Algebra 3-4, chemistry, physical education, world history, Spanish 3-4, which is the equivalent of Spanish 2, I think here, and language arts. I created one of my best works during my sophomore year. It was my exemplary project. It was pretty much a detailed timeline that had the roots of democracy, through all the countries that have practiced democracy as their form of government. It was a basic timeline of the improvements they've made on it all the way up to America today, and it showcased the main concept of the class because it was focused on democracy a lot. Our class was focused a lot on democracy, so it included almost all the material from the entire year in that class. And it took a combination of research, effort, and time. As I said before, it was pretty much the whole year. All the information we learned the whole year was in this project, so it was a very important project. During my sophomore year, I continued to join the recreational basketball team, and it continued to teach me the value of teamwork. And that was last year. I did basketball thing, but it was very fun, and it just continued to teach me how to deal with others and how to work hard. During my junior year, my favorite teachers were Mr. Messerly, which was my computer graphic design teacher, Miss Mason-Brink, which was my computer applications teacher, and Mr. Gagnon, which is my photography teacher. Mr. Messerly was probably my favorite teacher out of all my teachers in high school because he taught the class that I planned to go in when I follow my profession after college. So he taught me all this priceless information that I'll need to know for my job, and he was kind of like a role model. It's who I wanted to be when I wanted to grow up because he was a successful graphic artist. Miss Mason-Brink, I had her before. She was in my Intro to Computers teacher. She just continued to show that she was a very nice teacher and taught me even more about computers that I might need to know for my job. Mr. Gagnon was my photography teacher, and I liked him because he was nice and he was very relaxed, and he let us take it at our own pace. And I knew absolutely nothing about cameras or pictures before I went to the class. And by the time I left that class, I knew how to work a professional grade camera as well as how to take professionally pictures. And I just thought he was a very good teacher. Classes I took during my junior year were pre-calculus, physics, AP United States history. The 3 electives I took were computer applications, computer graphic design, computer graphic arts 1 and 2, which was all year. Each one was a semester long, and introduction to photography, as well as language arts. I created 2 best works during my junior year. They were both in my computer graphic design class, and one was a tricolor self-portrait, which is included in the portfolio in the best work section, and it was pretty much just a self-portrait of myself using 3 colors, black, white, and gray. And it was probably my first professional grade graphics project we turned in the class, and it gave me an example of what the class was going to be like and the kind of work I would need to produce in the real world. And it was very important, and before I put it in my portfolio, it was up on my billboard, and I like looking at it. I really enjoyed making it. The other piece of artwork I created was my future business logo. It was one of the assignments. He wanted to get us ready in case we wanted to make a company, and we made a logo for the company, and that is also included in the portfolio. It is very important because if I ever create a graphics company when I grow up, it will be the logo I use, most likely. Some personal accomplishments I did during my junior year was I aided the school yearbook very much in my 2 classes, photography and computer graphic design. The yearbook obviously needs a lot of pictures to fill up the yearbook, and in my photography class, we helped snapshot a lot of the pictures they used in the yearbook, and as well as the overall design of the entire yearbook was, the cover, the inside details and everything was all designed by me and the class, all the kids in the classroom in my graphics. So we aided the yearbook in that way. And I also gained 3 certificates of competency for computer graphic design, photography, and computer applications. Those pretty much just are basis of legitimacy when I try to get a job. If I try to get a customer in any of those 3 fields, this will show that I am competent in that field and I am able to make anything that needs to come out of that field. During my senior year, it was a little different than my first 3 years because I was in Green River Community College, obviously. So I took college-level classes, and to finish up my high school graduation requirements, I took the classes Political Science 100, Sociology, Political Science 203, and Economics 100. And then right now I'm currently enrolled in Art 109 and Math 141, and those are both prerequisites for my future degree that I plan to earn in computer graphic design. My best works during my senior year were my exemplary essay, and that was made in my Political Science 101 class. It was a prompt about the healthcare reform that was going through the Senate at the time, and it took weeks and weeks of research. It was the final term paper because the overall topic of that whole quarter for that class was healthcare reform. So it took everything I learned in the class to make this final term paper, and since it was a college class, it had a college professor and college level requirements, so it had to meet up the standards for college level writing, and I believe I got a B+ on it, so I did good, and I met the college requirements. Now that I've explained my high school experience, here's what I plan to do after high school. I plan to attend Bellevue College in order to earn an associate's degree in a computer graphic design field. And for financial-wise, I am set for the first year because I have gained access to the full Pell Grant. So for my whole first year of college, I am set for tuition and hopefully all the books. So I have plenty of money to get me through the first year. And as soon as I earn my associate's degree in computer graphic design, I plan to switch over to the University of Washington and complete my bachelor's degree in that field as well. And then after that, I plan to hopefully get a job in computer graphic design out in the workforce after I gain my bachelor's degree. My high school experience, as you can see by my resume and letters of recommendation, which are in my portfolio, has really helped me plan out my future, and has helped me get ready for my profession when I grow up, and has taught me a lot just about in general, all the general information I need to know to get a bachelor's and an associate's degree. And once again, I've been approved for the full Pell Grant, so I'm set for that for my first year of college. And I've taken steps in the future because I've registered for the fall quarter at Bellevue College, so I am set. I am financially set, and I am ready to go to college when college starts at Bellevue College. In conclusion, I have fulfilled all the requirements for this project during the past 4 years by producing the many exemplary works I have shown you in this project and in my portfolio. I have fulfilled all the high school graduation requirements required to graduate, and I have taken many steps toward my future profession through the many art classes I have taken and the certificate of competency I have gained. What I would have done differently if I had to do my high school education all over again, I would definitely work harder for better grades, because especially my first few years, my grades were a little lower than I would have liked them to be, so I would have definitely worked a lot harder to get better grades. And I would have also done more community service. That was another field I was lacking in. Moving around made it confusing, but I would have definitely done more community service and volunteered a lot more. That is the conclusion of my presentation. Are there any questions, comments, or suggestions?
Very well organized.
Thank you.
Very well organized. You're very good at presenting.
Thank you.
I take it you have experience doing this.
Yes, my dad's he knows how to present well, and he's been teaching me how to.
You're the first one today that's talked about how your experiences have helped you. You really did a good job of outlining that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's, and it's moving here 1 year, going somewhere else, and then coming here and talking about this. This is one of the better presentations I've seen.
Thank you.
And you haven't been here for all 4 years to have the experiences to do that. So the way you pulled it together, it was very, very well done.
Thank you.
Very impressed.
Thank you very much.
And I appreciate the professional dress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yes, thank you.
Nicely done.
Been checked off, but no one's really gone the distance like you have, Alex. And I appreciate that.
I've tried.
Good. And you addressed, I think maybe not being here for the 4 years helped you because you looked at this.
Yeah, and I really
down
went
sequentially. I mean, it's really nice. And I know Ms. Like has already looked through your portfolio.
Yes, she.
And I apologize for it. I promise it was right there.
Oh,
I remember seeing it.
It's fine.
But yeah, and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So presentation is completely checked off on, and
Thank you.
I think you're good to go.
Congratulations
Thank you very
on the
much.
Pell Grant.
Yeah, that's fantastic.